What up, TCK Potters? Welcome back to the program. I am your host, Sky Guasco. This is another episode of the Candlestick Kids Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 514. Tonight, I'm going to be breaking down the Week 13 TCK Listener League roster rundowns. I'm rolling solo tonight. Chris Benavides usually joins me for these, but he was off for the evening, and we did our Week 13 game previews earlier in the week. If you haven't caught those, dial it back one episode. Bobby Lamarco just got finished up doing his player trends and team trends, as well as dialing in on some key injuries in the Thursday Night Football recap episode for 513. If you haven't listened to that, get a last minute look in for your key injury updates and key player trends that will help you in week 13. We're streaming live here tonight on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter on the Fantasy Focused Network. Make sure you give a like, a follow, subscribe, hit the buttons, hit the bells, and give us a thumbs up there as well. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Sky Guasco, SKYGUASCO. You can find Bobby Lamarco at Bobby Lamarco, and you can find the rest of the crew there as well. Also, make sure to catch us Sunday morning, tomorrow morning, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, streaming right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. On YouTube, you can become a super chatter and you can donate there and jump the line. We get hundreds of questions every Sunday morning. You can become a super chatter with a donation of even just $1, $25, $50, whatever you're feeling. You could jump the line there and we'll get to your question right away. Also, of course, 10% of those contributions on our super chats every single Sunday go to our friends at Good Sports. Good Sports is a great organization we've teamed up with this season. 10% of all of our donations goes to Good Sports. They've helped 540,000 youth across the United States out of 48 states, in the lower 48, I should say, play youth sports. Underprivileged families and kids are able to play youth sports. They can get equipment, they can get the coaching they need, they can get out there on the field, the court, whatever it is, and play those sports through Good Sports. So we're trying to do our part to help them out with 10% of our proceeds from the Sunday live show. So if nothing else, sometimes people don't even have a question. They're just tuning into the show and they give us $5, $10, $15 just to donate to Good Sports straight up. So if you want to do that as well, feel free to just drop a super chat. Let us know that that's what it's for, and we'll donate your entire $15 to Good Sports. We appreciate that so much. Once again, Sky Guasco rolling here for 514, getting in a last-minute TCK Listener League roster rundown where I go through the veteran and the rookie leagues for the TCK Listener Leagues, help set some rosters and help everybody gear up. We're 2 weeks out from the fantasy football playoffs. So those of you that need wins this week and next week. Those of you sitting up at the top are feeling pretty good. And those of you clawing at the bottom, trying to stay out of the cellar, it is crunch time the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to give a shout out quickly to our good sponsor at Bet Online. And I'll be right back after this and we'll get into our Listener League rundown. Bet Online is back and better than ever. A new web interface for the rest of the NFL season and the NBA season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all football and basketball action this season. Make sure to head over to the new updated desktop or mobile website and sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code BELIEVE50. That's BLEAV50. BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. From football to basketball to NHL to boxing to UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the rest of the 2021 seasons. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, folks, let's get into it here. I'm streaming live. If you're tuning in live via video on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, you can see my screen I'm sharing here with you with the TCK roster rundown. If you're on the podcast side, of course, per usual, I will break it down the best that I can. All right, let's start with my team. My team comes up in the Veteran League just because it's my account, comes up on my screen first. So we do that there. So we'll do my team first, going up against my good brother, longtime former co-host, original co-host of the TCK pod, my man Curly, the alternate, coming in here for the TCK Listener League. He's at 75. I'm at 8-4. I need to stay on top here. Going with Tom Brady, Alexander Madison, and Jamal Williams. Great handcuffs, finally paying off there with DeAndre Swift and Dalvin Cook out. I've got Jalen Waddle. CeeDee Lamb went for 16 points for me. Foster Moreau, Van Jefferson, Michael Pittman, and the Rams DST against Jacksonville. Looking pretty good. I do have DK Metcalf on the bench, but I'm going to bench him against the San Francisco 49ers this week. Jalen Waddle, I expect a big game out of. He's been absolutely on fire. Already played CeeDee Lamb, and I like Van Jefferson and Michael Pittman. This is a super flex league, but my other quarterback's Ryan Tannehill, who's been struggling, and on a bye week, the rest of the quarterbacks are scraped in this league. So I'm going to go with Michael Pittman in my super flex, and I'm going to bench DK Metcalf in this league. I'm hoping that this comes back to burn me and DK Metcalf goes off on my bench so that I'm comfortable playing him moving forward. But until I see it again, I frankly am not. So I'm not playing him this week in the Listener League. All right, Curly's going with Lamar Jackson. Zeke Elliott put up only 6 for him. James Conner, Russell Gage, T.Y. Hilton, Dawson Knox, Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the bye. Jalen Hurts, assuming he plays, he may be out for this game here, but they're still making that a game time decision, so be careful there. 49ers defense. He's also got Marvin Jones, Mike Williams, but he is set on his lineup. Okay, let's get into Jay Care and Brady for Prez. Jay Care 2-10. Brady for Prez 7-5. Jay Care rolling out Mahomes, Miles Sanders, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, assuming he plays, coming off of a few week absence here and the bye week. Hopefully he's healthy enough. Michael Gallup, 36 yards and a touchdown for 12 points on Thursday night. George Kittle, Rob Gronkowski, Keenan Allen, and the Chargers defense. He's got Lawrence and Zach Wilson, but he is going to roll with that squad there. And Deebo Samuel on his bench, unfortunately, because he is out this week. Brady for Perez going with Russell Wilson, Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett, Mark Andrews, Chase Claypool, Carson Wentz, and the Vikings defense. He has Justin Fields, who is doubtful, Boston Scott, Allen Robinson, and the Patriots defense against Buffalo or Minnesota versus Detroit. Let's go Minnesota versus Detroit there. All right, next up, Dweez and Hayden Zeke. Yo, Dweez has been on fire. He started 0-7 or 0-8 and has rattled off 4 in a row or 4 of the last 5. It's going to be tough for him to make the playoffs, but remember, in the Veteran League, the top or the bottom 4 teams in the Veteran League move down to the Rookie League, and the top 4 teams of the Rookie League move up to the Veteran League, right? That's how we have kind of a mix-up here in our rosters. Dweez was winless for the first 2 months of the season, but he's clawing back, and if nothing else, he's hoping to just survive and stay in the Veteran League here, going up against Hayden Zeke, a perennial contender, very busy on the trades, of course, my man Zeke. Well done. All right, Dweez is going with Cousins, Darrell Henderson, assuming he plays, Stevenson, Evans, Justin Jefferson. I say Jamar every time. Justin Jefferson, Kyle Pitts, Marquise Brown, Jared Goff, and Arizona's defense. He's got Chubb on the bench with the bye week. Darnell Mooney out of the lineup. Dweez, what are we doing? Darnell Mooney, let's see. Marquise Brown, Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans. This is crazy. I might start Darnell Mooney over Jared Goff straight up, even in Superflex. I think I would do that. Allen Robinson out. Andy Dalton in. Mooney's going to have 15 targets. I think I would do that move. Hayden Zeke, Bridgewater, Mixon, Cordero Patterson, Kupp, McLaurin, Freiermuth, Sony Michel. So this is interesting. We have Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel going in the same game here. Big Ben Roethlisberger, who announced today that essentially this will be his final season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see him moving on to another team, so makes me think that regardless of how the team ends up this season for the Steelers, he will be retiring at the end of the season. Dallas's defense, 4 interceptions, 17 points allowed, 2 sacks, forced fumble, and a touchdown against the New Orleans Saints. 22 points, huge game for the DST. Rodgers on a bye. He is out. Christian McCaffrey done for the season. Logan Thomas hurt again, unfortunately. So a lot of good players there on the bench for Zeke as well. All right, let's go with Paul and Ulysses. Paul's going with Josh Allen, Mark Ingram, put up 3 points. Myles Gaskin, Renfro, Jacoby Myers, Hawkinson, Beasley, Mac Jones, and the Buccaneers defense. Melvin Gordon out. Josh Jacobs on the bench. Would you want to play Josh Jacobs or Mark Ingram? You already played Mark Ingram and then Myles Gaskin. I would play Gaskin over Jacobs. All right, Ulysses at 9-3 in first place in this league. Paul at 7-5. Ulysses going with Herbert, Taylor, Fournette, Cooks, Chase, Schultz. Schultz put up 7 points in this league, 5 for 5, 43 yards. Galladay, Burrow, and the Colts DST. He's got DeAndre Swift out, DJ Moore on a bye, Green Bay Packers defense on a bye. Both teams looking good there. Hawk Galladay and Lucas. Hawk Galladay 4-8, Lucas 4-8. These guys both trying to stay alive as well in the league and look at an outside 6th seed in our playoffs. Hawk Galladay going with Stafford, Damian Harris, Eckler, Deontay Harris, 4 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown, 1 carry for 3 yards, 18 fantasy points in this league. Tyler Johnson filling in for AB, Kelsey, AJ Green, and Taysom Hill in the Superflex, 22 fantasy points, even with those 4 interceptions. Ravens DST. He's got McKissick out, Aaron Jones on a bye, AB suspended. Look, if you don't have an IR spot or you're just AB is pretty much droppable. I don't know that he's going to play for the Buccaneers anymore anyway. Bruce Arians is pretty frustrated with AB. So I don't know if Tom Brady can save him this time. I'm keeping him on my IR where I can, but unfortunately, it's not going to be a choice all the time here. So if you need a roster spot, drop AB. All right, Lucas going with Derek Carr. Javonte Williams, this is the week, folks. Melvin Gordon out. Javonte Williams versus the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. I expect a touchdown, probably 15, 20 carries or touches. This is Javonte Williams week. Tony Pollard goes for 15. Of course, that long touchdown run, 7 carries, 71 yards and a touch. Tyreek Hill off the bye, Cortland Sutton, Higbee, Elijah Mitchell, Tyrod Taylor, and the Eagles defense. Devontae Adams on a bye week, didn't play Amari Cooper, and that actually was for the best for Lucas there. All right, finally, in the Veteran League, we got Josh from the Commish Fantasy Football Podcast and our boy No Sue for you. Josh at 6-6, No Sue for you at 6-6. Both these guys looking for a back-end playoff spot. Josh put in Prescott for 11 points, Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, Devontae Smith, Chris Godwin, Mike Gesicki, Brandon Ayuk with no Deebo Samuel, Kyler Murray back off the bye and in 3 weeks out, assuming he plays. Buffalo defense. He's got Jerry Jeudy, Laviska Shenault, Rashad Bateman, and Hunter Henry on the bench, but I think that is the right move. Although I'm probably going to play Hunter Henry versus Buffalo. They're very good against tight ends, but Hunter Henry over Gesicki, I don't know. More volume for Gesicki, more touchdown upside for Henry there. All right, no stuff for you going with Tua Tagovailoa. Now, this is good defense here. This is the time of year where you start thinking about these kind of things. Your opponent is playing Tua Tagovailoa. Therefore, you play the tight end Mike Gesicki. Because if Mike Gesicki gets yardage, it goes against Tua, your opponent. And usually the receiver actually gets more points than the quarterback because of scoring. So whether Josh is thinking about it that way or not, that is a good strategy. So I actually change it up. Because Tua is the quarterback, I like Gesicki over who was it? Excuse me. Hunter Henry in this particular instance. So well done, Josh. All right, Tua Tagovailoa, Devonta Freeman, James Robinson, Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, Zach Ertz, Odell Beckham looked pretty good last week. Taylor Heineke and the Dolphins defense. He's got Kareem Hunt on a bye, who looked good in his first week back. Elijah Mitchell on the bench. He's been on fire, but Zach Wilson back in there. Of course, I'm not playing him over Thielen, Johnson, or Beckham. I think I'd roll with Beckham against Jacksonville. I get that upside there. All right, that is the breakdown here. Let's go through the standings quickly. We'll take a quick break and come back with the rookie division here. Ulysses up in the front here, 9-3, controls his own destiny for that number 1 slate and a bye week here. Ulysses at 9-3. I'm right behind him, tied with Hyde and Zeke at 8-4. Brady for Prez, Paul and Curly, all at 7-5. That is your playoff team as of right now. Ulysses, myself, Hyde, Zeke, Brady for Prez, Paul, and Curly are the top 6 teams as of right now. However, on the outside looking in, with an outside chance to make it, No Sir for you and Josh, both at 6-6. So those guys win 1 or 2 of the last 2, and any of the teams ahead of them lose 1 or 2 games, there could definitely be a mix-up. And then Dweez, Lucas, and Hawk Dalladay need to win both games to get to 6-8, and they need either No Sir for you or Josh to lose both games to get to 6-8, and then hope for tiebreakers. So they're in a tough spot, and unfortunately, J-Care at this point is mathematically eliminated at 2-10. Best they can do is 4-10, but unfortunately, that is not going to get it done here for the playoffs. All right, let me take another quick break here. I want to give a shout out to a new sponsor of ours, Lightbox. This is a great one for the holiday season coming up. We'll take a quick break here for Lightbox, and I'll come back with the rookie division. Shouts out to our new sponsor, Lightbox. Say goodbye to the dull gifts. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds are the brightest gift of the year. Using cutting-edge technology and innovative techniques, they've cracked the science of sparkle, creating the highest quality lab-grown diamonds you can find at a light price, $800 per carat. They have the same chemical makeup of natural diamonds, but are just grown in a lab. Because of their process, they can create stones of blush pink, beautiful blue, as well as classic white diamonds. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds are the gift they'll never want to take off, and priced so they won't have to. They really make any outfit sparkle. Visit lightboxjewelry.com and add sparkle to your holiday shopping. That's lightboxjewelry.com. Lightbox diamonds, never a dull moment. All right, let's look at the rookie division now. We got Drew Reb and Juan Otts. So again, the rookie division, the top 4 teams that end the regular season as the top 4 teams, those teams move on and will be in the veteran league next season, regardless of how the playoffs work out. Top 4 teams in regular season move up next season. The bottom 8 teams will be flushed out. We'll get 8 new teams. Some of them might re-enter if they end up in the lottery and get back in. But we rinse it out and bring in 8 new teams. And again, the bottom 4 teams of the veteran division, which I just went over, the bottom 4 teams of that will drop down into the rookie division. So J-Care and 3 others will drop down into the rookie division next season. All right, let's go through it here. We got the rookie division. We'll start with Drew Reb and Juan Otts. Drew Reb at 7-5, Juan Otts at 9-3, playing very well in a great position here late in the season with just 2 weeks left. Drew Reb going with Bridgewater, Jacobs, Eckler, Thielen. Callaway put up just 2 points, 1 catch for 13 yards. That was disappointing there. Taysom Hill, of course, 4 interceptions. Jared Cook, Tyreek Hill, Mark Ingram put up only 3 points, and the Buccaneers defense. J.D. McKissick out, unfortunately, there. Darnell Mooney on the bench again. I'm not getting this here. Well, he played Callaway. I would have gone Mooney over Callaway for sure. And in the super flex position, went with Ingram. I'm not sure I wouldn't have gone Darnell Mooney there either. So interesting moves there from Drew Reb on the outside looking in this week. All right, Juan Otts went with Taysom Hill, 23 fantasy points. Mixon, JT, Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore, Kyle Pitts, Javonte Williams, Tua Tagovailoa, and the Vikings defense. The team looks great. He's got Devontae Adams and A.J. Dillon on a bye week this week. Deebo Samuel hurt and out, but Juan Otts looking very good so far and in the driver's seat with 2 weeks left. All right, we got Kelly in Phoenix going up against Brad, keeping up with the Joneses. Kelly is 5-7, Brad at 6-6. They're both battling for a last playoff spot here. Kelly's going with Carr. Zeke put up 6 points. Boston Scott, McLaurin, Rondale Moore, Mark Andrews, Ertz, Andy Dalton, and the 49ers defense here. Nick Chubb on a bye. Damian Harris and DJ Moore on a bye as well. Damian Harris on the bench. Let's see if we go Damian Harris or Boston Scott. I would go with Damian Harris, personally, even against Buffalo. All right, Brad, keeping up with the Joneses. Cousins, Jamal Williams filling in for DeAndre Swift, Miles Sanders. So we have Miles Sanders going up against Boston Scott. That'll be interesting against the Jets. So the Jets can't stop anybody. So there's definitely an opportunity for both of these running backs to have a nice day, but it's the Eagles. We'll see. It'll probably be Jalen Hurts. Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle. I expect him to have a nice game against the Giants with two of their top cornerbacks out. Rob Gronkowski, vintage game last week. Sony Michel, Lamar Jackson, and the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Aaron Jones on a bye week. And Mike Williams and Jerry Jeudy on the bench. Would I swap any of those in? I'd put in probably, let's see. I'd put in Mike Williams over Sony Michel there, unless Henderson is definitely out. All right, let's go with Bob. Co-host going up against Weston, big time TCK supporter. Shouts out to my boy Weston. All right, Bob's at 5-7, in danger of missing the playoffs here in the TCK Listener League rookie division. And Weston 7-5, right in the middle of the pack here. Bob's going with Josh Allen, Matt Breida, Rex Burkhead, T. Higgins, Cup, Foster Moreau filling in for Darren Waller, Devonta Freeman, Goff, and the Chiefs defense. Mac Jones has been on fire, but going up against the Bills, I don't like that. And the rest of his bench is benchable. All right, Weston going with Prescott, 11 points. Fournette, Gibson, Deontay Johnson, Cooks, Henry, CEH, Tyrod Taylor, and the Ravens defense. Solid squad. Let's see here. Hunter Renfrow on the bench. Rashad Bateman on the bench. Darren Waller out. Let's see. Rashad Bateman. Nope. I'm good with Weston's team. I'm good with Bob's team. Good luck. All right, let's go down to Jordan Della Valle going up against her girl Megatron across the pond in the UK. Jordan at 8-4, Megan at 5-7. Jordan going with Wentz, Patterson, Connor, Lockett, Diggs, Hawkinson, Montgomery, Murray, and the Dolphins defense. Tannehill on a bye. Deonta Foreman on a bye. Pratt Freiermuth out. Let's see who's got it tight end. Hawkinson. I'll go with Hawkinson. I have this in another league too, Hawkinson and Freiermuth, and I kind of decide each week. But at home, inside, I'm going to go with Hawkinson there. Okay, Megan's going with Jimmy G, Najee Harris, David Johnson. CeeDee Lamb put up 16 there, 13 targets, 7 catches, 89 yards. Should have been a much bigger game. Dak missed him, well, on 6 passes, obviously, but 4 of those were like legitimately should have been caught, should have been big games, probably a touchdown or 2. CeeDee Lamb should have had about 150 and 2. So if you went up against him, count your blessings. If you had him, should have been bigger. All right, Michael Pittman, Cole Kmet, Brandon Ayuk, Zach Wilson in his return back against Philly, and then the Colts defense. Aaron Rodgers on a bye, Dalvin Cook out, Cole Beasley on the bench. Let's see, Cole Beasley or Brandon Ayuk or Michael Pittman Lamb. Nope, I'm good with that. Megan is in the driver's seat. Good squad this week. We'll see what happens there. All right, 2 matchups left. Let's go with the Commish and Brad, Peter Dragon. All right, the Commish has Jalen Hurts, assuming he plays. Tony Pollard, great game. That was a good spot start there, 14.5 fantasy points. Alexander Madison, Justin Jefferson, Chris Godwin, Dallas Goedert, Jamar Chase, Justin Herbert, and the Patriots defense. Alvin Kamara out this week again. Of course, DeAndre Swift out. Hubbard on a bye week. Galladay could come back, but that's tough. Michael Gallup, 12 points on the bench. Van Jefferson and Noah Fant. Great bench team there, but I think he's playing the best squad. And Brad is going with Burrow, Henderson, Barkley, Kadarius Toney, doubtful. So let's find a receiver for him. Claypool, Kittle, Kelsey, got the double tight ends there. Stafford and the Rams defense. See if we can find a wide receiver. Kendrick Bourne, that's going to be my guy. And do I want the Chargers versus the Bengals or Rams versus Jacksonville? Rams versus Jacksonville, of course. So the Commish at 9-3, Brad at 6-6, looking for that last playoff spot. And finally, Brock going up against T-Banta. Brock has got Brady, Hines, Alex Collins, assuming he plays, Metcalf, Evans, Knox, Hollywood Brown, Heineke, and the Cardinals defense. And just scouting his team really quickly. Looks good. Damian Harris on the bench, but I can't imagine you would have started him. Bills defense versus New England or the Cardinals versus the Bears. I guess Cardinals versus the Bears. The Patriots have been playing quite well with Mac Jones, so good squad there. And T Banta just at 1-11, unfortunately, going with Roethlisberger, Gaskin, James Robinson, Shenault, Beckham, Dalton Schultz, just 7 fantasy points, Elijah Mitchell, Russ Wilson, and the Broncos defense against Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes on the bench. I think that's going to be a swap out there. Allen Robinson hurt and another bench spot there. So he'll get Mahomes in, which will help a little bit, but we'll see what happens. So Brock at 4-8, Todd at 1-11. Let's take a quick peek at the standings in the rookie division. All right. It's a race up at the top. Wannats and the Commish Fantasy Football Podcast, both teams at 9-3, tied in first place. Jordan sitting alone in second place at 8-4. Drew Reb and Weston at 7-5. And then Peter Dragon, right now, both Brads are 6-6, but Peter Dragon has the point advantage by 8 fantasy points at 6-6. So right now, if the playoffs were to start this week, it'd be Commish, Wannats, Jordan, Drew Reb, Weston, and Brad, Peter Dragon. But a lot can happen, and it's close in the group here. Brad number 2, keeping up with the Joneses, is 6-6 as well. Kelly and Phoenix, Bobby, and our girl Megatron, all 5-7 in the 8, 9, and 10 seeds. Brock at 4-8 needs some help. And then Todd Banta, unfortunately, eliminated at this point at 1-11 this season. So that's a look at your TCK Listener League roster rundown for the veterans and the rookies. We got a couple questions up here. I'm going to dive into those really quick, and we'll get out of here and get ready for Sunday. All right, the second take extra on YouTube. Logan Thomas or Foster Moreau in PPR. Look, Logan Thomas, I don't know, is going to play. Got beat up again coming back here. So if Logan Thomas plays, I'm okay with Logan Thomas. I don't think he will be, and he's going to be a game-time decision. So I'm just going to go with Foster Moreau. Darren Waller's out. I feel comfortable with no matter who the tight end is there for Carr and the Raiders. That is a focal point for that offense. So outside of Renfro, they don't really have a number 2 right now. Deshaun Jackson catches a deep pass, but not much there. Brian Edwards hasn't gotten involved. Obviously, Ruggs is gone. So it's Renfro and the tight end. And the tight end is Foster Moreau because Waller's out. So I think I'm going to go Foster Moreau regardless here. But if Logan Thomas is 100% a go, you can, feel okay with that play. But I would just probably roll with Foster Moreau this week. All right, Munir in on YouTube as well. Start 1 and drop 2. Interesting. T. Higgins, Devonta Freeman, Stevenson, so Ramondre Stevenson, Van Jefferson, Russell Wilson, Logan Thomas, Bateman, and Sony Michel. Okay. Start 1, drop 2. All right, so you have a full roster. You got to make some drops to move guys around. I get it. Okay, so this is tough. You have some high. Okay, first of all, let's just go with who I'm keeping for sure. I'm keeping T. Higgins. I'm keeping Van Jefferson. If this is a single quarterback league, this sounds ridiculous, but depending on who your other quarterback is, I might be okay dropping Russell Wilson, to be honest with you. If you have a top 6-8 quarterback and Russ is your backup, I would be okay dropping him if you need to, but not knowing that. You can drop Bateman. I love Bateman, but if you need a roster spot right now, go ahead and drop Bateman. You can drop Sony Michel. I know people want Sony Michel to be the high upside handcuff. I just don't believe in it. I know that the Rams running back is a great position to have, but first of all, Henderson is not out. He's just been beat up a little bit, right? Also, the Rams have been struggling. I think they go back to the pass more, and it's been ugly for the Rams, but for fantasy purposes, like Stafford and Kupp and now Odell and Van Jefferson, they're still gunning. And if that defense isn't able to stop people like they did early in the season, they're going to have to throw more. I'm not into Sony Michel. I just, unfortunately, I just don't see it. Yes, he might score because he's on the Rams, but I don't see 115, 20 total yards and a touchdown or two necessarily, especially with Henderson in. So long-winded answer of I'm okay to drop Bateman. I'm okay to drop Sony Michel. I would keep T. Higgins and Van Jefferson, definitely. And then because they're running backs with opportunity and upside, I would keep Freeman, Stevenson. And then again, if you have like a top 5 tight end and you've been waiting on Logan Thomas, but you have a good streamer, I would drop Logan Thomas. And if you have a great quarterback and Russ is your backup in a single quarterback league, I'd be okay to drop Russ. But I think it'd be easier to drop Bateman and drop Sony Michel just so you can keep that quarterback and tight end flexibility there in case someone gets injured. So who would I start this week? I'm going to start Van Jefferson over T. Higgins, believe it or not. So start 1, Van Jefferson for the Rams against Jacksonville, and then drop 2, Bateman and Sony Michel. But if you have great options at tight end or quarterback and you want to keep Bateman, in my opinion, over Sony Michel, or if you have Henderson and you want to keep Michel, fine. It's all roster construction. I don't know your whole team, so I'd be okay with that. So start Van Jefferson. After that, it would be Higgins for me. Drop Bateman, drop Michel. I know it's a long answer, Munir, but I have to work through some of these things. I hope that helps out. Appreciate everyone hanging out with me for a quick episode this evening. Once again, got to give another reminder of our Sunday live show. Every single Sunday, sit for 3 hours before kickoff. Every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time. I will not be in attendance this week. I'm sorry, folks. Again, if you missed me last week, started a new job. I'm working mornings like early. I start work at 3 a.m. So I will be out again this week, unfortunately. But the rest of the boys are going to bring you home here week 13 into week 14. This might be the last week of your fantasy regular season. If it is, let's get those wins. Or next week will be the last week of your fantasy regular season, which it should be. We'll see what happens. So everybody tune in right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Give us a like, a follow, subscribe. Download the podcast as well. Even if you listen live, download the podcast. I convert all of these episodes here live. I convert them into the podcast form the next morning. So if you miss an episode or whatever, you're driving on your way to work, picking your kid up from school, you're on a run, a workout, whatever it is, or you're just in crunch time, hit us up on the podcast, the Candlestick Kids Fantasy Football Podcast. Anywhere you listen to your podcasts, you can download us there and catch it up. I listen to all my podcasts on 1.5 speed. Some people don't like that. Some do double. I listen on 1.5 so I can bust them out. We try to keep it within an hour. This one's only about 35 minutes, so we'll keep it here quick for you so you can bust them out. But last minute nuggets, and do yourself a favor, folks. Bobby puts in a ton of energy, a ton of research, a ton of back-end last-minute crunch time for you, the listeners, on his Player Trends episode that drops every single Saturday, right? It's out now. Get that in before you set your rosters. It's very important. He goes through every single team, nearly every single player on those teams, lets you know who, like offensive linemen, defenders, defensive backs, coaching strategies, whatever's going on here to switch things up, right? Slot funnel defenses, run heavy defenses, or offenses, tough against tight ends, better against pass catching running backs, whatever it is. Those trends Bobby picks up on, and he saves my ass multiple times every weekend on that last minute episode. I crunch it in, make a couple different roster adjustments, and it saves me more often than not. A little bit of DFS advice in there as well. Also, during the Sunday live show, we're going to be pumping the FanDuel DFS competition. If you'd like to join us on that and you do not have a FanDuel account, make sure you sign up and do that. Tell them TCK sent you. Bobby will have directions on that tomorrow morning. And if you do have a FanDuel account, make sure you join our competition. It's a lot of fun there. Sometimes we have prizes and things, so keep an eye out there as well. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Of course, this episode and all episodes are brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network and Bet Online AG. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Lightbox, our new sponsor, and the rest of our sponsors as well. Appreciate everyone tuning in with me tonight. I got a quick one. I want to crush out the TCK Listener League roster rundowns. I will not be in attendance tomorrow morning, unfortunately, on Sunday, but I will be back with you next week for the final week of the fantasy regular season. If it's this week for you, best of luck. Go crush it out. We got a couple weeks here so we can get those hashtag TCK titles. Appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your football and good luck. I'll catch you next time on the Candlestick Kids Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Sky Guasco, and I am out of here.